Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Sara Wiseman. So today we're continuing our talks and we're going to be talking about how to work with your guides and angels, and specifically how to ask the questions that your guides and angels most want you to ask. And this is important because if you're not asking the right questions, you're not going to get clear answers. Now, I know that some of you are in touch with your guides and angels regularly, and others, it's a new concept for you. You don't know what that is, and that's fine. Wherever you are is fine. When we do start to get really serious about our spiritual practices, one of the things that we can do, there are lots of spiritual practices. So one of the things, but the thing that I like best and the thing that I have found most valuable is to have a system or learn a system for getting clear guidance on what matters most in our life. And for me, this is working with the highest etheric council, and this is the guides and angels. And so for me, this means we aren't going to just work with our guides and angels in a casual way. We're not just like chatting with them throughout the day. My guides told me this, my angels told me this. That's okay, but we want to take it more seriously. We want to go deeper. So we can start to learn this very consistent, repeatable way of reaching the guides and the angelic realm so that we can receive deep guidance that will help us move forward in our lives. And this practice of what I call, or others have called, direct connection, you with the divine, is a way of actively seeking guidance from the universe in a dedicated way. I think for me, in my experience, it's been the single most important practice that I've discovered. Okay, so what are guides and angels? And, a lot of information on this in my teaching. I use the term guides and spirit guides and angels and archangels, saints and etheric beings and holy ones. I use these all interchangeably. And the idea is that we are talking about groups of etheric beings from other dimensionality who assist us on our soul path. Now, I want to throw this in. They're not aliens, right? Aliens are beings that exist in this dimensionality but are from somewhere else. In this case, these are beings, these holy ones are beings in other dimensionalities. They aren't in the earth realm with us. We go up to them in vibrational level, they come down to us. And so there's this midpoint in which we can communicate with each other, or actually in which we can communicate with them. They can communicate with us all the time. It's just that we don't always know how to hear that. So it's interesting to me because in teaching, I've been teaching this to people for a very long time. And what I find is that it kind of doesn't matter what your religion was as a child or how you were raised. People from all over the world, from all different kinds of backgrounds, are having experiences with guides of angels and guides and angels, and the consistency is remarkable. Some people have guides, some people have angels, some people have saints. It doesn't really matter. Whoever you receive is exactly right for you. There isn't a hierarchy. There's no one better thing to receive. It's just whoever you are in contact is exactly perfect for your soul and your soul destiny in this lifetime. Now, so how do we do this? Are there a lot of steps? Is there, a big way? And like, no, this the interesting thing. It's so simple. You really just, you relax. You just close your eyes. You breathe. You breathe some more in through the nose. and out through the mouth, and in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And then you just become aware of everything in the room. And you become aware of the other energies in the room. And to your surprise, you may find that there are beings with you at all times, these sainted holy beings. And you just begin to connect in with them, which we'll talk about in a little while. So, how do we work with our guides and angels? One, we connect with them, and then we find they're in the room with us. And then, how do we ask for the guidance we need? So, the guides, and again, the broad term, the guides, the angels, all of those etheric beings, their goal is to lead us to our highest potentiality in this lifetime. And by highest potentiality, we mean not our ego potential. What? No, we don't want to go there. Our soul potentiality. How we can learn to detach from ego. We can learn to transmute suffering into joy. And we can become so awakened into the miracle of every little thing that we exist in a continual state of love. And this is our task here. This is our task. You know, the other day I was reading some Ram Dass and thinking about Ram Dass and thinking, why was that guy always so happy, right? And then I started meditating on Ram Dass, who has since passed on, and said, Ram Dass, what's the secret? How do you exist in this state of love, or appear to be existing in this state of love? I mean, obviously there's so much suffering in the world, right? And in the meditation, I received kind of like this idea of being at one level, and then you just jump up in your meditation to another level, and suddenly you're no longer in the suffering and the pain. You're in this other level of dimensionality where you have a broader perspective. And from this place, the suffering just, again, we transmute or we transcend. You might just try that. You might just try that in your own, if you're suffering a lot, as a way. You just decide to go to that dimensionality. And from that place, one, ego doesn't have much room there. It's very hard for ego to breathe up there. From that place, it's pretty interesting. So let's talk a little bit now about what I call the 8 questions. And so now, obviously, that's a pretty arbitrary number, but in my own teaching of this work, I came across 8 questions that the guides are most interested in you asking. And the reason this is because these are the questions that relate to your soul's destiny, that relate to this highest potentiality of you in this lifetime. So here they are. What's the most important thing I need to know? What's my next step? What's my destiny? What are my special gifts? What relationships need healing? What is my karma with my family? What are my past lives? And how can I receive divine downloads? Let's look at just each of these briefly. The question that I use the most, what's the most important thing I need to know? And this takes us out of ego worries. What about this? What about this? What about this? Takes us out of that place and says, guides, universe, what's the most important thing I need to know? And often the response is completely different than what we've been thinking about. I think that if there was one question, that would be the one to ask over and over and over in your practice. What is the most important thing I need to know? The next is very similar. What's my next step? You know, when we get stuck, as all of us do, we tend to spiral in this thought pattern or these thought loops of trying to figure out how to fix things. And sometimes that is not the answer, or mostly that is not the answer. When we say, what is my next step? We surrender our ego and we allow the universe to show us the very next step. Say you're having a big fight with your boss. You know, should I do a lawsuit? Should I quit? You know, all the various ways. And the next step might be take 3 days off. And during that time, during that 3 days, you do that and you find you get offered another job, you find you get to relax from the stress, and the entire issue is just solved because you listen to the guidance as opposed to your wounded ego. What is my destiny? Now, people think sometimes that soul destiny means, I don't know, like in this field, like, oh, you have to be an author or you have to be a motivational speaker. Well, no. Your destiny might be to be a teacher or a parent or a gardener. Your destiny might also be to learn the particular soul lessons that you're here to learn outside of any particular identity or task. What is my destiny? And what's nice about this question is we can ask it, and then a year later we can ask it again, and our destiny usually changes as we're growing through our lifetime. What are my special gifts? Question number 4. So, you know, we have these gifts and talents that we're provided with at birth, the things that we're exceptional at. We're just good at them. It's not like we worked at them. It's just we came in with those. And usually these special gifts relate very correlation to what our contribution is supposed to be in the world. What relationships need healing? You know, of course, soul lessons, relationships are usually our biggest teachers. And so when we look at our relationships, we look at what needs healing, and maybe it's not even healing. Maybe we need to take a break from someone. Maybe we need to hold our power. This question allows the universe to show you the relationships you're in. Remembering also, it may not be people. Sometimes the relationship is to a place or to an addiction or to an idea. What needs healing? Relating to this, question 6, what is my karma with my family? So family, for some of us, is our biggest teacher. For others of us, family's not that important in this lifetime. This question allows you to look at that balance between ancestry and lineage and what you're here to do. Question 7, what are my past lives? And this is really awesome because it's very easy to slide into a past life and experience that. And asking this question allows the universe to show you the parallel past lives to this lifetime and help you see what you are once again working on, the soul lesson you are once again working on, right? And finally, how can I receive divine downloads? No, divine downloads don't come often. It's usually a rush of information or a rush of healing or a rush of opening, but we always want to ask the universe, you know, I'm here, I'm willing, I'm ready. If it's time for me to have a download, yes, please, I ask for that. And so as you start to do this, you know, you're working with your guides and angels, you're connecting to them in this simple way, and then you're asking these 8 questions. You just find everything starts to get really clear. You take all the impetus off the ego-driven life and begin to allow the universe to lead you. If you want to learn more specifically the techniques and so forth of how to do this work, you can go to sarawiseman.com, my website, and go to courses, and then go to this particular subject matter is in the Divine Guidance Project. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll look forward to being with you next time.